Hello guys, my name is Matt and welcome to another SourceMod coding tutorial. So in this lesson we're gonna start doing all the review stuff I talked about in the previous video. So someone requested me to create some sort of a store plugin, so I came up with the idea of doing it in KeyValues, which I think it's very important to understand key values because you're gonna use it every day. Like every plugin might have key values for different reasons, not only for databases, like for anything else you can use key values. It's very important. So yeah, I thought it was a very good request, so I decided to code it for you guys. So how this is gonna work is basically you're gonna have a file where you're gonna put all the items, call them the way you want to call them, and also the price, which are gonna be based on points that the player is gonna get in game, depending on, like, I don't know, every 10 minutes you get a I don't know, 10 coins or points, whatever, and you'll get all the stuff, and then you can, I don't know, get custom stuff on anything you want, props, trails, whatever you want, lights to make some sort of a trail. Really, anything you want, you can put it there. So yeah, it's pretty cool, I believe. I don't know, you can use it for anything you want, any kind of server, maybe a build server if you really want to have some sort of paid prop system, kind of. I don't know, it's up to you. But yeah, so that's basically what this is gonna do, and I hope everyone likes this. And let me pause the video for a second. Something else another player requested is viewer requested is a rotating thing around players. So yeah, I actually said yes because we're gonna use entities for that. We're gonna add some sort of custom stuff, like, you know, you can customize your prop or your the way they rotate to the right or to the left. Maybe even, I don't know, up and down. Who knows? So yeah, we're gonna mess with entities with that, and it's gonna be cool, I believe. So yeah, but for now we're gonna focus on the store plugin. So yeah, we're gonna start coding this, and first thing we're gonna do is, of course, create the string that is gonna say where the file for the key values is gonna be located at. So we're gonna create a string, key file, and we're gonna use platform max path to actually define it, like how many characters this array is gonna have. Then we wanna move forward to the public on plugin start, and here we wanna create actually a directory. So create directory. And it says the path and the mode. So we're gonna locate this in the atoms folder. So in SourceMod /data/ and we want to call it store plugin. And I forgot the other thing. So on Windows the mode is ignored, so yeah, we'll add it later on. Just remind me because I have to do that. But yeah, I'm not gonna add it as of now because I think it's really useless, since it's not gonna do anything at all. So yeah, we're gonna create the directory, then we're gonna build the path. The type is gonna be the path SM. The buffer to store the path, of course, key file. There we go. Size of key file, and here it says the format string and the format arguments. So so yeah, we're gonna have that in here. So if it's path SM, we're gonna just need this slash and store items dot txt if you really wanted to name it that way. If not, you can name it whatever you want. It doesn't really matter. And for that, we are like creating the file to store all the key values. Alright? So another thing we want to do is, like, when we load the plugin, we want to load all the items that we have. So to do so, we want to actually like get it we're gonna use a custom function. So load items, so public load items. I hope everyone understands that this does not exist normally, so that's why we are defining this right there. So yeah, load items method or function, call it whatever you want. So in here we're gonna have all the load, right? So we're gonna declare a new handle, which is gonna be called db for short, and we're gonna create key values, and we're gonna name it item list or items list. I don't know, it's the same. Now that we've created this key values base, call it whatever you want to call it, we're gonna get all the values from the database, from the file. So key values to file, just like that. So the handle is gonna be db, and the file is gonna be our keyv file. So it's I'm sorry, file to key values. I said it the right way, but I did it the wrong way. I don't know why. So the parameters are like the same. They don't change, but yeah, the function is different. Alright, so now that we've actually dumped all the key values into the server, you want to call it, I don't know, we want to actually look for the one that we want. So we're gonna use if keyv underscore jump to key, and here we have the handle, so the handle for our key values, which is dv, and the key that we want to find. So in this case, we're gonna look for items and false. I'm gonna explain this in a second. So inside the key values, we're gonna have the main thingy, which is gonna be called item list. Then you're gonna have open like that, and then in here you can have all the data, right? Instead of having all that, like, not in an ordered way, we're gonna have it like this. So items, and in here we're gonna have item 1 and the name and the price. So to separate the price and the name, we're gonna actually use, I don't know, a symbol. I don't know what to use. Let's use this one, like that. I don't know if you have that in your keyboard or on your keyboard, but if you do, then you can use it. If not, you can use any character you want. And then here we're gonna have the price, and so on. Like, we're gonna have a bunch of items like that. So I'm gonna leave this here because this is gonna be the structure, so you don't get confused in the future. Alright, so that's how it's gonna work, basically. So this is gonna be the main one, and this is gonna be the sub main. Call it the way you want to call it. So yeah, we're gonna jump to key here and false, because we don't want to create this. Like, if it doesn't exist, then we're gonna say, dude, you haven't added any items yet, so go add them, and yeah, then come back. So yeah, now we want to create a for loop, and I'm gonna show you why in a second. For well, new I equals 0, because we want to start from 0 here. I until, and here I don't know how many items we're gonna have. let's make it to where we can have 100 items. Sounds good. I think it sounds fairly okay, right? Yeah. Yeah, I think 100 items is gonna do great. Yeah. Maybe 1,000. Yeah, 1,000. Actually, yeah, 1,000. 200. I plus plus. So in this for loop, what we're gonna do is go through each one of these, right? And then store the name and the price of those. So maybe you're wondering, okay, how are we gonna do that? It's easy actually. So I equals 0, so we're gonna start from 0 here, and yeah. Alright. Wait a minute. Okay, sorry about that. I was checking something, and yeah. So the way we want to do this is actually, like I said, looping through each one of these. Doesn't matter how many we have, because we're gonna be able to add until 200 items, right? So from 0 to 199, this is gonna check for that. You can also have another one if you really want to, but yeah, we're gonna get into that in the future. So in here we want to actually format the I for one reason, and here we want to create a new string. My bad, string, which is gonna be called the index. We're just gonna call it index, and it's gonna have let's make it 6 thingy. So yeah, we're gonna call it an index and size of index. So this means that we're gonna store whatever we put next in this variable. So in this case, we're gonna use %d, and we're gonna format I. Like, basically what we're doing is changing this integer into a string, which is gonna be stored in here, like nothing else. We're just doing that because here we want to get the string from the database, and I'll show you why in a second. So the handle is gonna be db, like always, and here says the key, right? And the key has to be a string, name of the key. So we need to change that number into a string to get the value. So we're gonna call it index here. The value says the buffer to store the key value in, so we're gonna create that in a second, which is gonna be the buffer. The max length, well, size of buffer, I'm gonna add the parentheses in a second, and a default value, which is gonna be a string. Normally it's set to blank, as you can see right there, but we're actually gonna set it to no string, like that, right? Just in case. And here I'm gonna add the parentheses. So what we're doing here is actually saying, okay, for each, like for and we're gonna start from 0, right? And it's gonna check, okay, we want to change 0 to a string. So once we change that 0 from this for loop into a string, it's gonna say, alright, we want to get the string where the key equals 0, right? Basically what we're saying, I want to get the value of what's stored in the key 0, which is this, right? So when this equals 0, it's gonna look for this. When this equals 1, it's gonna look for this, and when this equals 2, it's gonna look up for this, right? That's all it's doing basically. This gets the value of this key, and this changes this into a string, because if we were using an integer, we would get a warning when we compile a plugin, because it's not a correct argument. Alright, now maybe you're wondering, why did I type that? Because of this. We want to actually check if this actually exists. So if the value exists, then we want to continue. If not, we want to close it here, like, because we're not going to use it anyway. So if string equals, and we're gonna set the buffer equals null string, and I'm gonna add a not here. So what I'm saying, if this if buffer does not equal null string, then we want to continue. In other words, what I'm saying, if this does exist, then I want to continue. If this does not exist, then I don't want to continue. Because if this does not exist, the value of buffer is going to be null string, right? I hope you're getting the how it works. And I'm actually going to create buffer because it's not there. String buffer, and I'm actually gonna have to add a 200 value of this because we might have a, I don't know, a big name or large name to this. So yeah, just in case, you know, you can make it lower if you really want to. You never know where you're gonna add it. So yeah, we want to continue if we actually get the value of that. If we get the value, we want to actually break the buffer, like separate the buffer. How? We're gonna create a new string. We'll actually want to declare the string. Since we're in a for loop, declare is gonna, this decl thing is gonna actually use less RAM or less processor to actually create the string, because we're not gonna have any index for this. The name is gonna be I don't know to name it buffer or not. Actually no, we're not gonna declare the string. We're actually gonna come up here and create a static string, and here we want to call this items, right? Maybe you're saying, whoa, why the hell are you adding 3 brackets? Because this is gonna be a multi-dimensional array. Yes. So I'll cover this in a second. Just give me a moment. Want to add 200 items. What I'm saying here is, okay, I want a string called items that is gonna be able to store 200 plug. Actually, let me put this here. Items. Basically, what we're gonna have is this. And then break, and then the same, but here 1, 1, and so on, right? Let me see if I can get out. 2, 2. Okay, what this means is, okay, I want items to store up to 200 of these, or like in this first curly bracket, I want to store 200 of these. So from 0 all the way up to 200, or 199 actually, right? Because as you know, it starts from 0, so from 0 to 199 you actually have 200 values. So we're gonna have 200 of these, like from 0 to 199, like I said, and then each one of these is gonna store like 2 values. So in here, like in the first one, we're gonna have 2 values. In the second one, 2 values. In the third one, 2 values, and so on until we get to 199, which is gonna actually have 2 values as well. Why? Because I want the first value to have the name, and I want the second value to store the price. Why am I using this? You can do another way, like items, creating another string like string name, and having 200 here and 200 here, and then the price the same. And you know what? This is completely stupid, because you can use multi-dimensional arrays, which are way faster. And I'm gonna cut these here, guys, and I'm gonna continue with this the next week. Please take a look at the code. I know it's not much. but I really want you to understand what these means, and if you do, then great. And also take a look at this again. I'm sorry that we didn't do much, but yeah, I don't have that much time. So thanks a lot for watching. Please rate the video up. Subscribe to my channel if you didn't yet, please. Thanks for watching again. This was Matt with Comax Gaming.